Hi everybody, it's Monday morning here and I'm going to do a quick update on my lentils. We got a pretty good shower last night, about 20 mils, and it's a little bit muddy in the field but not too bad. I dug up a couple of plants here and they're stretching out pretty good. I'm not sure kind of on the staging on lentils, but I'm not sure if they go by whorls or branches or whatever for the staging, but looks like a couple of branches coming out the top, and they're probably, the majority of them are like about 2 inches tall now. So it's about 2 weeks since I seeded it. It was the 14th of May. And we've had some pretty good rain since. I think around that 55-60 mils so far on this field since I seeded it. So we got good soil moisture, and it's they're popping up really good, and we've had some heat. So today is supposed to be a little bit warmer again, so that'll help them. I'm not sure if they really like a lot of water like this, but we'll see how they do. This soil is fairly light, so it should drain off good, but they're laying over the odd spot where the wind and stuff yesterday and with all that rain and that, but overall I'm pretty happy with them. 222 heat units since seeding, so we've had some pretty good days too. So the heat units are up, and so the crop is maturing pretty good everywhere. Still a ways away from spraying. There's the odd volunteer canola coming through. It'll be interesting. I know I've heard wheat is an issue with volunteer wheat, and there's some cereals coming up too as well, so we'll have to watch that and see where we're at for a competition there to try to get rid of them. I'm not sure what all I'll have to use to keep the weeds out of them, but so in the past I did Rumsey soybeans. I added it, so Mondays I did my updates for with CHUs and total rainfall. So I'm going to try and do that with the lentils this year, and that way I keep it kind of like a diary to see where we're at for staging. And I've done this the last 5 years, so I actually have the data where we're at on certain dates with the CHUs and the moisture. So it's kind of a neat thing to look back and to see where we're at. Good morning. Yeah, it's I'm able to look back and pick dates, and then I'm able to compare where we're at as far as maturity for corn heat units, which is kind of a good way to tell how the year is going and where we're at. So it's kind of neat. I've looked back a few different times when I was growing soybeans and seeing on the staging of them and where we were at for the heat units, and it's a pretty good way to see if things are maturing the way they are supposed to be. Like last year, with it being cooler and just things just didn't seem to mature, and we figured we were going to be later, but nobody knew for sure. But then about in 2 weeks from now last year, so about the middle of June, I noticed that the heat units were way lower than anything I'd ever seen in the 5 years I was kind of keeping track of them. So that's when I pulled the plug and bought a grain dryer last year. I started working about the middle of June to try and get a dryer in place, and it did turn out to be a year that the dryer did pay for itself. So I kind of always figured I needed one, but it was one of those things you always got away without it. So, but definitely it's a good way to keep track of it, and I'd recommend it to anybody in their area if they have a weather station close by that they can access the corn heat units and kind of keep track of it. And if you, even for your area, if you can just kind of document it, and year over year you start to see kind of how the maturity compares, and it does give you a little bit of a heads up to where the crops are going to be. So I'd recommend that to anybody. And in Alberta we have the Alberta historical weather data, and you can go right on there and set in dates, and it works really well. So if anybody wants that link to the Alberta historical weather data, you can pick your closest weather station, and you can put in dates, and you can pick certain parameters for heat units or accumulated moisture and all that, and it's really, really good. It's a really good resource, and I'm sure other provinces and other countries and states have that, so it's well worth it. So anyway, like I say, the lentils are up and they're greening up pretty good, so hoping in the next couple of weeks to be able to get some weed control on these guys, and I'm sure I'll have to do fungicide as well with it being so wet already, and the whole field has pulses on it, so it'll be a blanket application, I'm hoping, of some type of fungicide to get some good control. But it's a beautiful sunny day right now, and sunny morning, and it's starting out to be a good day. The birds are chirping and everything's good, so I hope everybody has a great week, and I'll talk to you guys later.